floor to public forum. Anybody in the audience? Yes, ma'am. Now's your time to speak. I got a little quick on the gavel last week, so I'm making sure I didn't this time. So come on forward, please. I'll need your name and address for the record, and also please fill out a speaker's form if you haven't already.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Nason, address 7447 Westgate Drive, Milton, Florida, and I did fill out a speaker's form.
Great, thank you.
And submitted a couple pieces of documentation that I had that y'all could look at, hopefully. I am here representing 12 families. We live at Westgate Mobile Home Park right now. As of tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., the water to our entire park is being shut off. That is 12 families. I have a son with autism. We have 2 other families with disabilities, and we have families that are living doubled up in there. I am not asking you to overturn. There has been a decision made. We were given 12 days. We were denied, and because of that, we were denied due process. We substantively and procedurally to be able to speak up for ourselves, to come together as a neighborhood or a community and offer any reparations. We have been abandoned by our mobile home park manager, Carla Lear. She is no longer in the state. I am very well aware and respect the judge's decision because his decision is based on her behavior, her actions, her inability to respond to requests to repair a septic system. In 2004, I lost everything I had to Ivan. FEMA put me and other families in that mobile home park. Since then, I have been the sole provider for my son with autism and my 7-year-old granddaughter. I've fought for everything. I finished college, I worked, and then I had to leave to take care of my son. That is the only home I've known. We are not asking for the judge's decision to be overturned. We are all very well aware of the public health hazard that does exist. We are not trying to make it worse. What we are trying to do is reach out to our community however we can to give those families some time. None of us knew the gravity of this situation until the health department knocked on our door with a letter stating that our water to the entire park was going to be turned off on July 13th. That actually gave us only 12 days. Weekends don't count. You're all very well aware nobody answers the call. On the most part, nobody answers calls after 12 o'clock on Friday, and it also fell during the 4th of July. So they handed us a street survival guide, and I asked them, what are we supposed to do? Do we have options? How can we fight this? All of us are in a whirlwind. We did file an emergency motion with Judge Rimmer to either stay or rescind his order. That order has since been denied and a temporary injunction made permanent. We are just asking that you consider the families out there, the gravity of the situation that is making us essentially homeless, even though the health department assured me, we are not evicting you. Well, I have children, you're cutting off my water, and you're not providing me with any other option but to call numbers from the Street Survival Guide. And when I worked for the Rosa Homeless Coalition, that was my first position out of college. I loved that job. I advocated for families. I came out of a homeless shelter. I came out of Ivan, and now I could potentially be set back where I was 13 and a half years ago. And if that is going to happen, I'm not going down without a fight this time, or at least being hurt. These are families. They've lost hope. They don't feel like anybody's hearing them or that it's worth the fight. I don't know what you can or can't do, whether you can provide resources, relocation assistance, options to these families. We can have our power. We can bring in bottled water. We can bring in gallons of water to cook with. Gray water is legal, but we cannot go to the bathroom. We can't shower. We have to uproot our children and our families. And there's no day facility that allows you in the community to go shower. We don't have anything like that here yet. We can't afford to join a gym. There's options. We have thought and turned over everything from requesting boyettes to put out porta potties so we can go to the bathroom as a community. We have offered to put all of our resources together to repair a septic system, but we can't pull a permit. We've offered to lay individual septic systems, but we can't pull a permit because we're not the owners, and the family took the owner and will not allow us access to her. We do not. All we know is she's in South Carolina, probably in an assisted living facility. She has not cooperated with the courts. She has not responded. She's not made those repairs. In 2004, she did pay $25,000 to Reed Septic to replace or repair that. Nowhere in the documentation that we can find, they did take the check, but nowhere in the documentation can we find that when FEMA placed us there, did they do the research? Did they check to see if the septic was in proper repair for us? I don't know, because nobody will answer me. I have called the National Legal Center for Homeless Protection. We have called the government. We have done everything that we can do. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning is the time they turn our water off. We're still going to be living there, doing the best that we can to protect our environment and the families. I understand this is about the mass being greater than the few, and we are not trying to make a situation worse, but our few are our families and our children. I own my mobile home. I don't have $7,000 to pay moving costs to move it, nor do I have the resources to acquire a piece of property to move it to. I'm a single mom doing the best I can to take care of my children, as are most of the other families in there. My daughter and my grandchildren live in that neighborhood too. The anxiety, the depression, the rush to pack, and now she's moving into a situation where she's doubled up with friends. It is going to create mass homelessness. 12 families. If they move in with other people, you're still going to create a situation where we have all of these families living doubled and tripled up. Do they count in a point-in-time survey? No, because we're not living in encampments. But we live here. We're constituents here. We vote here. We want to stay here. We just need to know that our community will rally and try and give us options. And that is why I'm here, because we are out of options. We're out of ideas, and we're trying to protect our families. And that is what I'm asking for: your assistance, your guidance, your suggestions, anything that you can do to help that. Thank you for hearing me.
Let me ask you this. So Judge Rimmer's main concern is the septic. It's not the family or the owners of the property trying to move you off. It's the concern with the health concern.
Yes, sir. It's the health department concern, the fact that the property manager is being held in default. She's been non-responsive, and now she's not here. We did have an extension until August with the option to lay dirt and lime, hoping that the family would either repair or allow us permission to repair. What
happened to that?
And, you know, all of that has been to no avail. So he did deny the emergency motion for temporary injunction, and I did not have it. It was emailed to me. I was going to bring it so you could see that that motion was ultimately denied, and it was based on the fact that the septic that is in disrepair is leaking sewage out, and ultimately when rodents, insects,
So
health hazard.
all 12 trailers are on one system,
Yes.
big system. And I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
trying to get, you're familiar with it, we aren't.
Okay.
With it, and what brought this about was probably a complaint from somebody to the health department. And it started when? 6 months ago, 8 months ago?
We're still learning how long this has been going on. She did not make any of us privy to this. The only reason that we even have the knowledge that we have now is when the health department gave us that letter, and only until the 13th to let us know. That is when we were aware of the gravity, and that is when we went to the clerk of courts. That is when we pulled up the records. That is when we learned just how extensive this actually was.
And did Judge Rimmer give any leeway? In other words, if it's repaired, the water could be turned back on, or it's just we're turning it off and that's it?
That's it.
Okay. And I don't know what we can do as a board on private property.
Right.
But while you're here today and this is going out streaming, I want our citizens, your neighbors, to hear what you had to say. And if I have questions, I'm certainly, what I'm trying to do is get the whole story out, or the whole picture out, because, again, you're familiar with it and we're not.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason for my questions. Any commissioner have any input, like to say anything? I'm hoping that you coming today, somebody out there that, perhaps that's watching this can help, another group, a community group. I know we have a couple groups here in town in Milton, Families Count, and organizations like that can help you. We have a housing board. I'm not sure, Dan, how can our housing board help relocation? Do we have that ability?
I'll check with Erin in housing what she can or can't do, but I don't know in this case with the private property owner and the legal determination that's been made. If we're able to help you stay where you are, we may be able to help in some other way, but I'm not sure that we will be able to affect that, especially in the next 24 hours.
Right.
I would suggest that do you have an attorney that has been representing you as a board, as an HOA?
No, we had one attorney that gave us a free phone consult to assist us in the preparation of our emergency motion. I've since called Michael Santos with the National Legal Center for Homeless Protection and emailed him all of the documents that we had. I have not heard back yet. The thing is we were on a very unreasonable time frame to take the actions and make the calls and do what we needed to do.
And I don't know how far along you are. If there's an order that's been entered, don't know what you can do. But Legal Services of Northwest Florida,
we have called them.
I would suggest you get in
and
touch
we've
with
called
them.
Emerald Coast Legal Services.
Okay. That would probably be your
they've not
best
returned
avenue.
our calls yet. We have not left very many stones unturned. We do have a right to an appeal, but that would take legal representation, and we are hoping that someone can pick that up. We do eventually have a civil case that's down the line. The family is probably not collectible with all of the things that's down the line. Right now, our immediate and emergent concern is even temporarily housing these families until they can access the resources, the safety net programs, the services or the support, or save the money to get something else. we would be willing to pool ourselves and resources together to repair that septic system. We don't know if this is 2004. We don't know if, maybe FEMA didn't do their proper research and put us there without actually checking things. Maybe that there's nowhere that we can find that the health department had anybody finalize the inspection. So what if the repairs were done and they weren't done right? There are many mitigating questions that I do not have answers for because I am not privy to that information. The family has completely shut us out. When Miss Carla fell back in August, I am the one that rode with her in the emergency vehicle. I'm the one that sat by her when they did surgery, and I'm the one that made sure she could go home and stay there because she has early onset dementia. She's not been deemed incompetent that we know of, but once the family came in and shut us out, they basically said that they told us all, we are not going to do anything, and there is written documentation from the daughter that specifically stated she was taking her mother, she did not plan on making any repairs, and that they were going to let the park go. This family, these people have no humanity, no morals, no values when it comes to the families that are in this situation, that they have created this circumstance. None of these families have done this to themselves. So even if there is some way that we can rally together as a community and find some resources to even temporarily house these families where there is, in fact, safety, running water, things like that, where we don't have to come up with some random idea like a porta potty, because we're still trying to protect the environment. We understand the issue, and we understand that legally you cannot overturn the judge's decision, so we are left with no other options but to reach out to our community. I wish I had more answers for you, but we are still learning ourselves.
Can we find out if the taxes are currently paid on that property, and would there be an ability, if these 12 families are willing to repair the septic tank out of their own pocket, how do we skirt the issue of them not owning the property? I'm just throwing some ideas out there, I know, to issue a permit. I think
I'll look into the tax status of the parcel of land at the Westgate Mobile Home Park. I can call the health department and talk to them as well, and I'm checking with Aaron on emergency resources that our housing office might have available at this point in time. I have another legal service organization. I'll get a card to you right after this.
Thank you.
That you can try that serves Scambia, it serves the Panhandle essentially. That might be another resource where you could get at least somebody to answer the phone.
Because I'm thinking that perhaps if we can do something like that, and again, I'm just throwing an idea out there, if we can get around the issuance of a permit, I think our clerk of courts, Donnie, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Donnie, hey Don, if we can get around the issue of a permit, do you think you could talk to the judge?
The
I
judge,
don't know. Okay, all right. I'm not wanting to put you on the spot, but
the judge is not going to allow me to change his decision.
I understand. But
And,
if we can just get word to him that septic tank's going to be repaired.
I can get word to him about the septic tank.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I don't-
he's giving you to July 13th. Is that how long he's?
That's tomorrow, yes, tomorrow. 8 a.m., Point Baker's
And
going
I
to turn
don't
the
know
water off.
that all this can come together, but I can't leave this podium with this on my mind without throwing some questions out there. So.
I can run it past Judge Rimmer.
Well, let's see first if we can get around the permit thing, and then Dan will be in touch with you if that's available, and we may even have somebody from a tank company that's watching this that says, hey, you give me the permit, I'll fix it. We don't know how outreaching this is at this point, but
From what
you've made an earnest plea, and I want to help any way we can. So.
Thank you.
From what you were saying, there's one septic system all these mobile homes are on, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was replaced about 13 years ago?
And yes, sir, in 2004.
How big a tank is this?
I believe there's 2 tanks down there.
I mean, are we talking 10,000 gallons, 5,000? Generally, a home
I'm
is a
not
5,000.
I'm not aware of the size of it.
And
I know we can get that information for you. I know that another resident does have that information. I'm not aware currently of the size of it, but it is.
You don't know if it's the drain field or the tank?
That's what I was getting at. It could be just to pump out the tanks and put in a new fill, so let's...
Well, more than likely, it's going to be drain field if they didn't put those diffusers in with the woods. We were just looking at it on Greg's website, and there's probably a bunch of roots in the drain field. And if it was a drain field, then they could replace a drain field and drain the tank. And if the board did away with the permits, I don't know what the permits are to do that, to how much it costs to do that, but you know, I was thinking of a solution when you were talking about this. It's the tank itself generally doesn't fail, it's the drain field. And
I apologize, I don't mean to interrupt. It is my understanding that the pipe that goes to the septic is in disrepair, and that the tanks have somehow cracked. The concrete over the tanks is somehow cracked, and that is why that it is leaking. And that is to the best of my knowledge at this point. And that is why the health department originally had, and the Department of Environmental Protection had originally allowed the permission to put dirt and lime on it in order for us to have time, in order for the property manager to have until the end of August originally to either make the repairs, or then this action would happen. But when the health department found out that Carla Lear was no longer here, they pursued the issue and pushed it and got their decision sooner. That is, so far that's what we know. Like I said, we're still getting information.
Everything is mute if we can't get around the permit issue of not being a property owner. So let's let the county administrator see where we can get to on that. Okay. I think a lot of people have heard your story this morning, and we'll just have to go from there. I mean, it's but it's either we can do it and try to find somebody that's willing to step up the plate and help with repairs and pumping out. If we can do it, if we can get the permits. If that don't happen, then we're going to have to look at the relocation issue of it. And our county administrator's assured us that he's going to look at both aspects. So just make sure we have all your contact information, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you one more question. On the property owner, do you know if the property owner wants y'all to leave?
I believe the family wants us to leave.
They want to do away with that?
They want us to be made to leave without them having to go through the process of evicting every family. They do not want to invest any money into the property. I will let y'all know this is your fun. The only other issue, the property owner is in default on multiple loans to the property. We did receive a foreclosure notification months ago from M&T Bank. She has loans with M&T Bank. She also has loans with SBA. Some are already being paid because they're taken from other accounts. The foreclosure does not, at the point I last researched this, the foreclosure was not even yet in court. So that still would have given us more time. The ultimate decision, the ultimate end is still going to be the same. The families are aware of that. But 12 days, that's not time. That's not enough time to access resources, go through screening processes, see if the community has any resources to help anyone. I'm very well aware of the process because I assisted in that. And I know that it takes time. Some of these families are sharing transportation just to get back and forth to work. So if you have one at work and the Homeless Coalition is only seeing people from 8 to 3 and they can't get there, you have a transportation issue. None of the families that live in this park are living above poverty level. We're all simply surviving and just trying to do that. But I am aware that that is an issue. At last check, it was not in court yet. So honestly, we were just hoping to make the repair, keep our lives at least at a standard living capability, and have the time to prepare for the actual end of how this will likely turn out. So none of us are, gradually we are all being brought to light about things that have been going on for quite some time. And this is because Carla Lear and her family abandoned us. There's limited access to information. Thank goodness so many things are public record, and we have some of us that can go research those, as I have done, and another person in our neighborhood has done, but everyone else is losing hope. They're losing fight.
Mr. Chairman,
So that's where that is.
where's the park located?
It is on Westgate Drive. It is there's a mobile home park to the right before you get into Whiting Field.
I thought so. Let's let the county administrator look into it and see what we can do.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for hearing me, and any suggestions, advice, anything that you can share, I greatly appreciate it.
Let me ask you one question. Was this case brought up under your name, or was it under Westgate's name?
It's against Carla Lear and Westgate Mobile Home Park.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. No stone unturned, right? Thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Anyone else? Okay, we are adjourned.